That day, Camila had no idea her life was about to change forever. As her owners busily packed their belongings, she joyfully played nearby, blissfully unaware of the heartbreaking reality unfolding. When they loaded up their vehicle and drove away, Camila didn't realize that this time they wouldn't be coming back. Left behind with nothing but a worn blanket that carried the faint scent of her family, Camila waited outside the locked apartment. Hours turned into days as she remained curled up on the roadside, her loyal heart refusing to believe they had abandoned her. Every passing car, every faint noise, filled her with hope that her family would return. But no one came. She clung to the blanket, the only thing left of the life she once knew, not yet understanding she was truly alone. Days later, Marina Ivashevsky, the compassionate co-founder of Dallas Dog RRR, was taking a stroll through the neighborhood when she noticed Camila. At first, she thought nothing of the small dog nestled on the blanket, assuming she belonged to someone nearby. Oblivious to the pup's plight, Marina continued her walk, unaware that she had just crossed paths with a soul in desperate need of help. As Marina made her way back home, the skies opened up and rain began to pour. Seeking shelter from the sudden downpour, she waited until the rain subsided before retracing her steps. On her way back, she noticed Camila again, this time soaked to the bone, trembling, and still lying on the same blanket. The pitiful sight tugged at Marina's heart, and she could no longer walk away. Determined to understand the situation, Marina approached neighbors to inquire about the dog. Their response shocked her to the core. Camila had been abandoned by her owners, left with no food, no water, and no shelter. The blanket she clung to was her only connection to the family she had loved so unconditionally, a heartbreaking symbol of her loyalty. Moved by the pup's resilience and despair, Marina couldn't bear to leave her behind. With gentle hands, she wrapped Camila in a dry blanket and brought her to safety, vowing to ensure the sweet dog would never be abandoned again. Camila's world had been shattered, but Marina's love and compassion began to piece it back together, offering her the chance at a new life where she would be cherished forever. A bittersweet smile formed on Marina's lips as she observed Camila's unwavering loyalty. Despite being abandoned like a forgotten belonging, the dog remained steadfast, waiting faithfully for her owners to return, blissfully unaware they never would. The sight of such unreciprocated devotion broke Marina's heart. How could anyone discard a creature so capable of love and trust? In that poignant moment, Marina made a solemn promise to herself. She would not let Camila suffer any longer. Determined to right the wrongs done to the loyal pup, Marina resolved to give her the love and care she so desperately needed. But Marina, with her years of experience in working with animals, knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Camila's deep loyalty to her previous owners meant her trust would not be easily won. The abandonment had left scars on her heart, yet she still clung to the hope that her family would return. Marina understood that it wasn't just Camila's body that needed care, it was her shattered spirit. This only fueled her determination to try everything in her power to show Camila she was safe and loved. Marina wiped the tears she hadn't realized were streaming down her cheeks. The sheer unfairness of Camila's situation weighed heavily on her. Here was a dog who had given nothing but unconditional love, discarded as if she were nothing. Marina steeled herself. She couldn't change the past, but she could rewrite Camila's future. With a gentle approach, Marina tried to gain Camila's trust. Each step closer was met with resistance as the frightened pup darted away, her fear of strangers evident. Camila's loyalty to her previous owners was unshakable, making it clear she wasn't ready to accept anyone else into her life. Marina didn't give up. She tried tempting Camila with food, understanding the dog must be starving after days of fending for herself. But Camila, despite her hunger, refused to be lured. She remained steadfastly loyal to the family who had left her behind, unwilling to let go of the hope they would return. This posed a challenging dilemma for Marina. She racked her brain for another way to earn Camila's trust, knowing that forcing the dog to accept her help would only deepen her fear and emotional wounds. Camila had already endured too much, and Marina was determined not to add to her trauma. Marina resolved to be patient, even if it took days or weeks. She set up a spot nearby, sitting quietly at a distance to show Camila she wasn't a threat. Her strategy was simple: to let Camila come to her when she was ready. Marina brought fresh food and water each day, leaving them close enough for Camila to reach but far enough to respect her need for space. With each passing day, Marina hoped the scared and abandoned dog would realize that not all humans were capable of betrayal. Camila's story had already broken Marina's heart, but she vowed to turn it into one of healing, love, and redemption. Marina noticed a pattern in Camila's behavior that sparked an idea. Every time the dog ran away, wary of Marina's presence, she would inevitably return to her blanket. It was her only source of comfort, her anchor in an uncertain world. This realization gave Marina the inspiration for a plan. Carefully, Marina began moving the blanket inch by inch, each time allowing Camila to follow it. The process was slow and painstaking, but Camila's attachment to the blanket worked in Marina's favor. Little by little, the loyal dog followed the familiar scent, gradually moving closer to Marina's apartment. After about an hour of careful maneuvering, Marina had successfully led Camila into her home. A wave of relief and satisfaction washed over her as she closed the door behind them. Now, Camila was safe and had a temporary shelter where she could begin her journey to healing. Inside the apartment, Camila's sadness was palpable. She remained withdrawn, barely moving from her spot. Her tail hung limp, her head stayed low, and she avoided eye contact, her demeanor a heartbreaking testament to her emotional wounds. Even Marina's gentle attempts to pet her were met with flinching and hesitation. Yet, despite her sorrow and fear, Camila didn't attempt to leave. She stayed close to her blanket, the only piece of her previous life she had left. Marina, determined to gain Camila's trust, prepared a meal for her, hoping it would provide some comfort. But Camila wouldn't eat while Marina was in the room. Only after Marina left did the dog cautiously approach the food. While it was a small step, Marina took it as a sign that Camila could slowly begin to feel safe. Patiently, Marina stayed by her side, offering silent companionship, knowing that trust couldn't be rushed. It was during one of these quiet moments that Marina made a shocking discovery. As she gently attempted to comfort Camila with soft strokes, she noticed something alarming: a severe wound on the dog's neck. Marina's heart sank at the sight. The injury was raw and deep, and it was clear that Camila must have been in immense pain. The thought of how long the poor dog had endured this without care made Marina's stomach turn. Examining the wound more closely, Marina realized it was serious and could lead to grave consequences if left untreated. A mix of sadness and urgency filled her. She was heartbroken that Camila had suffered so much, yet relieved she had found the injury in time to take action. Marina knew this injury added another layer to the challenges Camila faced, but it also strengthened her resolve to help the dog recover. As night fell, Marina made plans to take Camila to the vet the next day. She arranged for immediate medical attention, determined to ensure the dog received the care she desperately needed. This was just the beginning of Camila's long journey toward healing, both physically and emotionally. But Marina was steadfast in her commitment to see her through every step, knowing that with patience, love, and care, Camila could overcome her painful past and rediscover the joy of being loved. The next day, Marina wasted no time in bringing Camila to the veterinarian. The vets examined her wounds, their expressions heavy with sadness as they listened to Camila's story of abandonment and rescue. They speculated on the cause of her injuries. Perhaps she had gotten into a fight with another dog while scavenging for food, or maybe she had spent her life tethered to a leash, her collar cutting into her neck over time. Regardless of how the injuries had occurred, the diagnosis was grim. The wound was far more severe than Marina had anticipated, and surgery was the only option to save Camila's life. With a heavy heart but unwavering determination, Marina gave her consent. The veterinary team moved swiftly, preparing Camila for surgery. They meticulously removed infected tissue and any embedded material while taking measures to halt the spread of the infection. Throughout the procedure, Marina stayed close, offering silent prayers and steadfast hope. Hours later, when Camila emerged from surgery, the relief was palpable. Though exhausted and fragile, she had made it through. Over the next several days, Marina remained by her side, celebrating every small step toward recovery. Finally, the news Marina had been waiting for arrived. Camila was ready to go home. As Marina brought Camila back to her apartment, she was filled with both joy and determination. While the surgery had addressed her physical wounds, Camila still bore emotional scars from her abandonment. Marina knew there was a long road ahead, but she was resolved to help Camila heal and rediscover trust and happiness. Marina began working on Camila's rehabilitation, fostering positive associations with humans and gradually helping her feel safe. Despite her progress, Marina realized that Camila needed a more structured environment to continue her emotional recovery. With a mix of hope and reluctance, she decided to enroll her in a nearby animal shelter. The shelter provided an opportunity for Camila to socialize with other dogs and interact with a variety of caregivers, laying the groundwork for a brighter future. At first, Camila was withdrawn. She kept to herself, rarely engaging with the other dogs or staff. Her sadness was evident, but the shelter staff recognized the potential for happiness within her. They devised a routine tailored specifically for Camila, involving gentle socialization, daily walks, and interactive games with other dogs. Slowly but surely, Camila began to adjust. Her once drooping tail started wagging during walks, and she began to show interest in playtime. Marina frequently visited the shelter to check on Camila's progress. Each visit filled her with pride and joy as she watched the once frightened dog take small but significant steps toward trust and healing. Camila would nudge Marina affectionately during her visits, a gesture that brought tears to Marina's eyes. It was a sign that the walls around Camila's heart were starting to come down. In time, Camila grew into a dog who no longer feared the world but embraced it with cautious optimism. The shelter staff worked tirelessly to find her the perfect forever home, a family who would cherish her resilience and provide her with the love she had always deserved. Marina's unwavering compassion and the dedication of the shelter team had transformed Camila's story from one of despair into one of hope and redemption. Despite all the progress Camila had made in her healing journey, one challenge remained: finding her a forever home where she could receive the love and care she truly deserved. Marina and the shelter staff were steadfast in their determination to find the perfect family for her. They knew Camila's remarkable resilience and loyalty made her special, and they were confident that the right home was out there, waiting for her. Marina decided to amplify their efforts by sharing Camila's story on social media. She posted heartfelt images and videos of the loyal dog she had rescued, abandoned on New Year's Day. In the caption, Marina poured her emotions into every word, describing Camila's heartbreaking journey from abandonment to recovery. She hoped the story would resonate with someone who could offer Camila the love she had been deprived of. Camila's story quickly went viral, touching hearts worldwide and catching the attention of Johnson, a man grieving the loss of his family's beloved dog, Benny. Benny had been a source of comfort for Johnson's 6-year-old son, Carl, who was recovering from an accident that left him temporarily paralyzed. After Benny's passing, Carl struggled with his loss until Johnson saw Camila's post, noticing her uncanny resemblance to Benny. Hopeful, he reached out to adopt her. Driving a long distance to meet Camila, Johnson shared his story with Marina, who immediately saw the potential for Camila to help Carl heal. When Camila and Carl met, it was a magical moment. Tears of joy filled Carl's eyes as he embraced his new best friend. Their instant bond brought happiness to everyone who witnessed it. Over the next 3 months, Camila's playful spirit encouraged Carl to push past his physical limitations. Inspired by her companionship, Carl progressed from a wheelchair to walking independently, something even doctors hadn't expected. Johnson shared updates with Marina, including heartwarming photos and videos of Camila and Carl's inseparable bond. Camila not only found a loving home but also became a catalyst for Carl's remarkable recovery. For Marina and the shelter staff, her transformation from an abandoned dog to a beacon of hope proved the healing power of love and companionship.